What's up, guys? This is Alpine Gremlin, back with some more World of Tanks gameplay. We're looking at a version 8.0 here, new physics, new tanks, all that stuff. We got a standard battle here on El Haluf in my StuG, German Tier 5 tank destroyer. Before we get started, I just want to say, I know I haven't made any videos in the past because apparently when version 8.0 came out, the profile of the game that the recording software that I use usually detects apparently was not able to be detected by my recording software's codec, so it wouldn't pick up the game, and I had to wait a little while before I could buy a new file for the recording software. But I got all that sorted out now, so I can record the new updated World of Tanks with this latest version that came out because I had to update it. But anyway, I'm going to this little position here. I actually really like this little spot. It's good for heavy tanks, medium tanks, and tank destroyers. All the enemies like to go to that hill that I'm overwatching right now, basically during any game mode on this map. Especially if I have a scout close over there, I can shoot people as they cross that open space between the two rock formations. And I can also pick off people as they leave over on the far left. Where this guy normally is that I just hit, that's also where the objective is during encounter. However, this isn't encounter, so it's not there. But this is also a very good overwatch position for that objective when you're starting on this side during encounter. So overall, it's a good position, and you're covered from people over on your right, so they can't hit you too well if you do end up getting spotted. Now, speaking of getting spotted, the tank I'm using right here, the StuG, it's very low to the ground. So it has a very low chance of being detected, especially when it's paired with the camo net, like what I am doing right now. I've been sitting for a while, so my camo net automatically activates and it decreases my detection chance by 50%. So I'm pretty hard to find in this little thing, especially when I'm behind a bush or other kind of concealment. Now, it's also very agile. You can actually play it like a medium tank if you need to. It's actually one of the few tank destroyers that you can actually hit and run with instead of just sitting and sniping if you have to. Obviously, you want to play it, kind of like a sniper as a TD. You want to sit back, but if you have to get up in the enemy's face, you can and are fast enough in order to use unconventional tank destroyer tactics if you have to. The rate of fire of this gun, I believe it's the L76. It's a 75 millimeter cannon. It's got a very good reload speed. It's very accurate, and it's actually gotten it's not terribly powerful, but with the recent update, it actually got a penetration boost, so it can now penetrate about 160 millimeters of frontal armor. So that's basically anything you'll be facing you can penetrate. I actually wasn't expecting to make that shot there. I kind of just fired. And apparently the T1, I didn't even see how much health he had left, but apparently what I hit him with was enough to kill him. But I really love the StuG. My friends and I, we like to nickname it the Ghost or some other, other afterworldly entity, because it's just so hard to detect if you play it right. I mean, you can fire off shots and they won't even know where you are the entire time, but it does rely on good scouts because its view range isn't the best, and also if you want to use your camouflage to your fullest extent, you actually won't be able to see people with your own eyes. So you really need a pair of scouts or, someone to look out for the enemies in front. Now, he tries that M4 over there. He tried to bait me into wasting a shot so he can make his way across my line of fire. But that's a very bad angle, so I'm obviously not going to take it, and he realizes that. This T1 comes out, though, and I guess he sees that as his opportunity, and he bolts. I wasn't ready because I was looking at the T1, so I didn't even bother shooting. At this soft 40, I'm telling him to get back, But and you can't see it in the chat because the new replay system. I guess you can't see things. You can't see what the text in the in-game chat anymore. But I told him to come back. He didn't exactly listen to me. He gets destroyed. So I figure I should probably head back to base because we are on the seriously losing end of this battle. It's me and an artillery piece left against basically a good amount of their tier 5s and the rest of their and all their tier 4s pretty much, and their artillery. So this is a pretty sticky situation. The StuG's actually pretty good at getting out of these situations. So I figure I might as well, I still have got a chance, or I can, you know, at least try to make some kind of last stand here before eventually getting overrun. So I decide, I know I have a place in mind as I'm returning to base. That little rock over there in the distance is a pretty good position, in my opinion. It's relatively protected from artillery, unless if they post up over in the far eastern sectors. But other than that, it's pretty well covered, and it's got bushes for concealment if you need it. But because I don't have any forward scouts, I'm gonna have to poke out and look for them myself. That SU-85 is coming over the top as well. But this guy's on the cap, so he's gonna have to go down first. I finish him off after because I had damaged him a lot over back in the western area. And there's a Hetzer and an SU-85. He's my primary target, this SU-85. He's got the biggest gun. I track him. He doesn't have a repair kit, so he's kind of at my mercy at this point. So I finish him off with relatively little trouble. My M37 goes ahead and blows up that Hetzer. Very good shot on his part. There he is. He just went down. Now I'm looking for this T1 heavy tank. I was expecting him to show up, but he hasn't yet, so I might as well go for this M4 who's showing himself to me. He's out of there. And this T-28, he's going to go around around the crest there. So this guy pops his head out. He's on his last leg, so I finish him off. Now this is, at this point, everything's kind of going my way. It's just one of those games, you know, where everything's working out for you. That's actually how most people end up saving their games if they're losing, because, you know, they do everything correctly and the enemies make mistakes. Like, these guys aren't exactly, you know, the brightest attacking force ever, because they keep showing up one at a time instead of going in at once. T1 heavy tank still hasn't shown up yet. I'm kind of wondering why, as I dodge artillery shells. The Su-26 isn't terribly damaging, but it has a fast rate of fire, so you got to watch out for him. Su-76, little tier 3 TD, not really a problem. But I fire because the dune gets in my way. But I make my first shot count. My second shot goes through. Artillery still trying to hit me here. I figure now I really am concerned about where this tank destroyer is. I mean, this T1 heavy tank is, because I really, he hasn't shown up yet, and I'm just wondering where on earth this guy is. So I'm gonna, instead of going straight at him, I figure I should flank around the front of this hill here, the face of the hill, in order to try and get around him, because if I were to go back near the base, that I would run the risk of running into him. And this is the least, I have the least chance of having that happen to me by going this way. Now, around this point, I think one of the enemies chats to me that the T1 heavy tank is AFK. Either he got disconnected or he just left the game. But you know, that happens. It's unfortunate. Lucky for me in this case, but it does happen. So I'm checking around where I originally was shooting from, where I originally fled from, just to make sure, you know, maybe he got confused and went back. But you know, I figured why it can't hurt to look everywhere. He's not here, so I decide to swing back and check around the base again. Still waiting at any moment for the base capture to initiate, because you know, maybe he came back and he is now on the base, but still nothing. I go around to where he was probably following me, and there he is, AFK. Luckily my crew at this during this game, my crew was at 100%, so they were pretty accurate at firing on the move, and I honestly can't afford to stand still and shoot because this artillery, as you see, is just all over me. There we go. See, I like this. You can see how good the StuG traverses. It's very good because it's based on the Panzer III's chassis, so it makes sense that it would be naturally pretty darn agile. It's got a very good traverse speed and it's pretty fast. I mean, 40 kilometers an hour or so for a TD is pretty impressive. So it's just me and the artillery left. I managed to bring the team back from the abyss this particular game, but I'm not out of the woods yet. I still got that SU-26. He's still a threat, and if he hits me right, can still take me out. So I got to be careful. And can't get too overconfident because I've seen plenty of people, you know, get this far and they make a stupid mistake because they're overconfident and they end up losing it. So I don't want to lose this. I want to check the most common artillery spot for people on his side of the map. A lot of artillery likes to go near this little village here. So I figure why not check around here? Because there is a good chance that he is, in fact, located somewhere around here. Nothing yet. It'll turn out that this guy isn't actually around here. He's probably on the other side of the map, or you know, on the other side of this base area. But I don't see anything, so I decide that I'm just gonna cap because there's always the risk that he is at our base or he's close to it and he's just gonna go for the cap anyway. We're both kind of, I think the way that this happened is we both kind of read each other pretty well. I figured that he probably figured that I was coming for him, so it was good for him to get out of here or wherever his location is. Now I've gotten on the cap. Now this puts pressure on him because now he's got, when one person's on the capture zone during a standard battle, I believe it goes up 1 point every second or so. So at this point, I've put him under pressure because he now needs to respond in order to avoid losing this game because of a base capture. He actually gets on the base, so it's kind of a cap race, but he's already lost it because he's about, you know, he's about 20 seconds or so behind. You know, so his only option at this point is to try and hit me by making a blind shot because he has no scouts to spot me. He's kind of got to shoot blindly. You can see he got off the cap there. That means he's out of range of his own cap circle, and therefore he's got to move closer, meaning out of my capture zone. So at this point, unless he hits me, I've got this in the bag. Notice how I'm not standing around that center cover. When people have spotted you, it's a good idea to sit there, because you can actually use it. It actually absorbs a shell before being destroyed, so you can avoid taking damage for that amount of time. But it's, at this point, during this situation, it's good to not sit there because the artillery will usually assume that, hey, he's probably there, so they'll take a blind shot. But so I'm just sitting, I'm using my speed to avoid getting hit, and I'm just circling around the cap like a medium tank would or a light tank. But we got 100%. I guess I put off a little victory shot there. So I won because of a base capture. But I thought this was one of the, you know, this is just one of those games where everything kind of went my way. The AFK T1 heavy, the enemy team not kind of really knowing how to attack. They kind of just came at me one-on-one. Luckily, I was able to pull out a victory for the win. I got a couple good medals this round, and this is just one example of why I love this tank destroyer. But hope you guys like this video. I'll be making more soon, guys.